Josh, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey guys, how are you today?
We're doing great. Not as great as you because you just got a big tournament win last night, so you got to be flying high today.
Yeah, today's a good day. Even reflecting upon last night's game, watching some film from last night, seeing the energy in the crowd and seeing how our team came back from a nice deficit last night and pulled one out.
Coach, we talked a little bit before the season too about this team going into this year, and since we get a chance now, full regular season tournament game now under our belt, where do you think expectation to reality the bar has been set, and do you think you met that bar? You think you've exceeded it, or where do you think the team is from those expectations at the beginning of the season?
We started off 6-3. We were on a nice roll there. We played pretty competitive with some good teams. We played pretty competitive with Camel early in the season. And then we had that key injury to Carter Burnett, our 6'6" guard forward there. So, we kind of lost some games there down the stretch that, if he was healthy, we may have pulled those out. We'll never know at this point. But I think right now with him coming back over the last week or so, that, we're on a nice roll right now. He had a phenomenal game last night, 13 points, 16 rebounds, monsters dunked to cap it off last night. So I think we're trending in the right way. I know it's weird to say that now that you're in tournaments, but this is the time of the year. I told our guys we want to be peaking. We want to be playing at our best. So I think that we're playing pretty well right now.
You said it. You want to be playing your best in February, not in October or November. So talk about some of the growth points you've seen from this team and how much you've really seen them grow from the start of the season to now and how proud you are of that growth.
The good thing is it's not, I can't say a good thing with Carter going down, but when Carter went down, we had to throw some guys in the fire who, if he wasn't injured, we may not have had the opportunity for them to play. So we had the opportunity to play some younger guys and they got that experience that they may not have otherwise. They had some huge games. We had Nick Barr step in for us, who's a sophomore, and knock down some shots in some key games. Bryce Gross has stepped up and played well. He's only a sophomore as well. We had Heath Stanhope step up. We had a game right after Carter broke his arm, actually, up at Fairport, and Heath had 5 or 6 threes, from NBA range. So actually, when we played up at Rocket Mortgage, he was shooting from well beyond the NBA three-point line. So, to see the growth of the younger guys who may not have had an opportunity to play, to be able to step in and play their roles and not do too much and get them ready not only for the postseason, but leading into next season as well.
Coach, just talking about the fact that Carter Burnett gets to come back now towards the end of the season, how much of an advantage do you think that plays into your team now going into this tournament run? In other words, too, how tough do you think he is for other teams to try to circle in and guard, and what makes him so tough to defend on this team?
It's hard to teach size and athleticism, and Carter has them both. 6'6" guard that can jump out of the gym, rebounds well. He averaged 15.5 rebounds when he did play this year. As I said, he had 16 last night. So he brings that presence to the floor where, you gotta watch him. You gotta know where he is on the floor because he can take off at any point and rebound the basketball. It'd be hard to tell where he'd be if he didn't break his arm because, like I said, he was having a phenomenal season before the broken arm, and he honestly picked it up right where he left off when he came back. He like I said, he came back senior night against Fairport and started the game off with a dunk. And, that's what he brings to our team, this athleticism that, you don't see in Division IV basketball. We go 6'5", 6'6", 6'6", at times if we need to, so you don't see that in Division IV basketball.
You opened this interview by talking about the energy that you saw from the crowd last night. Go into what it has meant to you and this team to bring back the Badger community and welcome them back in this gym, and what a boost they've given you this year.
From playing back in, I graduated from Badger in 2002. So I've always had that experience of playing in front of crowds and to come back and see the crowd come back with us and the community support us and give back to us is a good thing to see. You know, these young men in 2018, 2019, when we went to the district championship, you try to explain to kids what's going to happen. In 02, we went to the district championship against JFK, and you try to explain to the kids what's going to happen when they walk into the gym and the crowd's already going to be there and they're going to be giving you a standing ovation and things like that. But it just doesn't compare to when you actually see it. And, you know, you're in awe of the crowd and the energy that they do bring. And in times where you need them to step up for you, and they do. Like I said, it was nice last night for them to be able to give the crowd a good game to cheer for and be loud for. And you know, we hope to do it again on Friday at Lisbon. So we're talking about taking kids down on a spirit bus and taking a nice crowd down. So
Gotta have the spirit bus. I mean,
yes, sir.
nothing better than that experience.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me a little bit now about just with the younger guys on the team. I mean, you mentioned guys having to step up too. A lot of coaches will say that that's a huge advantage. The deeper you are going into tournaments, especially for D4, the more helpful that is too, especially with varsity level talent. What are some of these younger guys that have stepped up, and some of these guys, role players maybe, or guys down the stretch where you know they're going to key in on Carter? Who are these other guys that you've seen step up recently down the stretch?
You know, with us, when Carter went down and we started to play more guys, I'm not afraid to go 8, 9, 10 deep at times, depending on the situation and the players that we need. You know, there are games where we may finish with Brad Hamilton, who's a junior, Bryce Gross, who's a sophomore, Cole Burnett, who's a 6'6" junior, with Jack, and then Carter on the floor. But then there are games last night where we have Brad and Jack and Bryce on the floor, and Carter and Jeff Logan, who's our other big post player, is a senior. But you know, it just depends on the situation and what we need on the floor. When we need stops, we have guys on the floor who are able to do that. If we need guards on the floor who are able to handle the basketball, we have guys who can do that. If we need a bigger lineup on the floor to rebound the basketball, we can insert guys there. So guys are doing a great job of playing their role and coming in and accepting it. And it makes it a lot easier for me and my coaching staff to be able to do things like that.
You got Lisbon next. You travel to the Blue Devils, and this is a team in Lisbon that has some really quality wins against some really good teams. Preview this game, what you've kind of seen from the Blue Devils, and what challenges you think they present, and what you guys are going to have to do to win this game.
Yeah, they have good guard play, really good guard play, and we'll have to shut them down. They have the bigger Daly kid who's a good post player for them. Then we're going to focus on him a little bit, preparing for a 2-3 zone. I've seen a lot of that in film. You know, be ready to move the ball, and hopefully our size takes advantage. I've not seen them in person, other than they were at our game last night, but I haven't seen them in person. Not really sure how much size they have other than the Daly kids. So I'm just, you know, hoping our size takes advantage. And we didn't shoot the ball particularly well last night, not to what we're used to. We were only 5 of 20 from the 3-point line last night. So, you know, we're wanting to be a little bit better there from the 3-point line. Focus on defense. We gave up 28 in the first half, I think, and played a lot better in the second half. So we're gonna continue to focus on defense and switch it up and do different things, and you know, do what's necessary to win. We're gonna focus on defense here today and tomorrow, and we get enough shots up throughout the week that I think we'll be fine there. But we're gonna take the next couple of days and focus on defense and what we have to do to shut them down. So,
and I am sure you see a lot of zone defenses going up against you guys, because I don't think a lot of people in Division 4 can match up with you guys man to man and with the size that you bring. So
yeah,
I'm sure you're going to be no stranger to a zone defense if Lisbon throws one at you.
for sure.
I gotta figure too. What is it these Burnett's have down there in KINGSMAN, Ohio? Is it? I mean, does Coach Upshire have the secret to have 2 Burnett kids that are both over 6'5"? I mean, what is happening going on in that?
It's crazy, and And it's so funny because I always say every year, it's one of those, well, we aren't going to have much size next year. And then somebody has a growth spurt. We have an eighth grader who's about 6'1", 6'2" right now. That's, has the potential to play for us next year. And, so even though I say we may not have size next year, we may have more size next year. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
I think Coach has one of those water bottles from Space Jam that says MJ's secret stuff. And
Just
that's
giving
just-
it to all.
giving it all.
Yep.
Everyone gets it. I mean, Coach, just talk about that though, as just extending that question, because we say it all the time, and a lot of coaches will say it. I mean, you could teach these kids everything, but in basketball, you can't teach height. How much does it just help as a coach when you have these height advantages too, and you have the height advantage going into almost all your games? I figured.
Yeah, two things are always key as a basketball coach that I say. You don't always having the biggest team doesn't necessarily mean anything. I know when I was coaching at Ursuline, we had a lineup that was, I think our entire lineup, but our starting point guard was over 6'2", and we played a team, Newcastle, who came in and their tallest player might have been 6'2", and we're watching them warm up, and we're thinking, okay, this game's going to be pretty easy with our size, but we didn't have the guards to get it to our big guys, so we struggled, but. It's always good to have size as long as you have good guards who can get it down the floor and get it to them. That's the main key. If you don't have those guards that can get them the ball, then you can have all the size in the world. But if you don't have guards that can get them the ball, you're going to struggle. But also having the best player on the floor every night is a good thing too. So, I'm a little biased and think that a lot of times I do have the best player on the floor, and we'll see.
Thing is, usually you guys can go out and prove that sentiment as well. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know your day is stacked full of busyness, and you actually have to go back to class at 1:20, but we appreciate you cutting out some time for us. We love talking to you. Good luck on Friday, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, guys. If I can just give a shout out real quick. I
Absolutely.
don't know if anybody saw my Facebook post last night, but a huge kudos to Josh Scott and the Heartland Christian Lions on their first ever OHSAA tournament win last night. The tremendous job that Josh is doing over there at Heartland Christian is noteworthy, and I hope a lot of people start watching what that program's doing. He's taking that program and turning it around, and he's doing a phenomenal job. I appreciate what he does not only for the game but for the players and in the community as well. So huge shout out to Josh Scott and the Heartland Christian Lions.
I hope a lot of people go back and watch Badger's game against Heartland Christian if you want a good old classic basketball game too. That was a phenomenal one.
That was good.
Yeah, Coach, and to reiterate that in a little bit, soon. I'm going to say soon because I don't know the timeline, but we are releasing a Level Up episode with Josh Scott being featured in the Heartland Christian basketball being featured. And if you didn't have respect for Josh Scott before, when you see that video and you kind of get him mic'd up on the sidelines, you're going to have respect for him now.
Absolutely.
That much.
Absolutely.
Coach, thank you again for joining us.
All right,
We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.